Welcome back to Ben Rants. And when I was a kid, love wasn't just a four-letter word. Well, there are so many things that are making me mad, and I think it's time to rip apart several of those aggravating topics all at once. That's right, folks, it's the return of the mini rants video. So, get ready to be destroyed more than once. Here is my second mini rants video. Let's start with an easy topic to tear apart, dubstep. That's right, this is a music genre that the kids are listening to. Gee, that means it's good, right? No, of course not. Dubstep is a subgenre of electronic dance music. In other words, party music. Well, that's a good sign that I'm not going to like it, because I like listening to music that I don't have to be around a bunch of bouncing high school freshmen in order to enjoy it. And even then, I still want to enjoy it. Honestly, I tried to give this supposed music genre a chance, but I just couldn't take it at all. Why? For one thing, all dubstep music sounds the same. If I were to listen to a Skrillex song, I would think it's a Dat Six song. Finally, this isn't music. I'm going to say it right now. This isn't music. It's noise. Just loud noise. Now, you might say that music is a form of noise, but music at least has art to it, and it's made with the utmost love by artists who wish to express themselves and make an impact on the world. Good music, that is. This stuff, it's just a bunch of basement drillers making music with their computers. Sure, there is some singing involved, but you quickly forget about it once you hear all the noise. I can't take it! Is this the future that the great musicians are leaving behind? If this keeps going the way it is, then this is what music is going to sound like 10 years from now. Then there's this. Finally, my personal favorite. Well, we tried. Well, thank goodness I love classics. I don't have to worry about those turning into noise. So, dubstep is an uncreative music genre that's just an excuse for artists who can't play instruments to make music. Hopefully, this is just a fad that we won't be hearing for very long. Thank goodness, because I'd rather listen to grains of sand falling on a cooking pan. The next topic that's driving up my blood pressure is Teen Titans Go. Yes, I know I've talked about it before, but there's something I'd like to add to it. There's an episode called Hey Pizza that involves two things that made me almost chug a jug of cyanide. So, one plot focuses on Robin debating on whether to build a pool or a senior center because Starfire is telling him that she purchased a leopard skin bikini that she wants to use. Well, she may be drawn in an unattractive chibi style, but this show is willing to show me Starfire in a smoking hot bikini, then I'll forgive it for everything it's done. I'll be looking forward to seeing how that subplot turns out. But now, let's take a look at the other one. So, the other plot focuses on Cyborg and Beast Boy trying to get free pizza by making the delivery boy 30 minutes late. But of course, all their plots fail. Oh, so it's like a Roadrunner and Coyote cartoon. Except it's not funny. It's making my hatred for Warner Brothers increase by the millisecond. It gets to the point where Cyborg and Beast Boy actually blow up the pizza restaurant with a missile. Our heroes, ladies and gentlemen! Sure, some people might say, that's the joke. People dying because two lazy superheroes don't want to actually pay money for food. That's funny, right? Drop that! I'm sorry, it's Cyborg and Beast Boy. They're heroes. They would never do that. And the idea this show would say they would is disgusting and evil. Truck this show. I hope it, and everybody involved with it, minus the voice actors of course, falls into a pit of purgatory and is constantly ripped apart by winged fish demons. Which is what I would say, if it isn't for the fact we're going to see Starfire in a smoking hot leopard skin bikini. Okay, show. Make up for ruining a part of my childhood. Show me the hottie! Show me the hottie! So, Starfire goes behind a changing booth, but she comes out still in her casual outfit. Starfire needs help putting it on. I wouldn't mind showing her how to do it. However, it shows Starfire knows how to do it, as Silky then comes out wearing the bikini, and he does a sexy pose. Goodbye, sexuality. Okay, show. Direct everything I said previously to you. Anyway, some people say that I can't look at this show based on the knowledge that I have from the comics and the 2003 series. Yeah, I should expect a show about a poster salesman who's half dog, half groundhog, right? Anyway, fine. Allow me to judge this show as a show by itself and demonstrate why it still sucks. You see, I noticed that the kind of humor this show is mostly going for is character-driven humor, because most of it comes from the characters doing things that is either ironic or exaggerated from their personal traits. For example, there's a joke in one episode about Beast Boy being too lazy to fight crime, so he paints random animals green and sends them off to fool his friends. Now, anyone who's familiar with Beast Boy's character would know that he sometimes comes off as a slacker, but he would never leave his friends to die if they need him. So, the joke wouldn't work from that perspective. However, anyone who doesn't know about Beast Boy wouldn't know about him being the laid-back character of the group, so the joke would come off as confusing to that person. See, it doesn't work from both aspects. Otherwise, somebody would just be laughing at the fact that Beast Boy's painting animals green and letting his friends get beaten up. Another example is in the episode Dog Hand, which made me almost want to punch a newborn puppy. Starfire is given the ability to talk like a teenager from the planet Earth, getting rid of her Tamaranian slang. Now, someone who's familiar with Starfire's character would know that part of the fun of her is seeing her learn some of Earth's customs and talking about the customs from her home planet, so the joke comes off as offensive to some people. However, the joke also doesn't work for casual viewers because she's just speaking common slang that teenagers use. Where's the comedy in that? So, for a show that wants me to ignore my knowledge of the characters, it's really hard when I need to know about the same characters in order to find the so-called jokes funny, but I can't because those said jokes are actually making me shout out naughty words. Also, the jokes themselves are the same jokes we hear on Cartoon Network's other shows. There's nothing original or groundbreaking about them. The only difference is the chibi versions of the Teen Titans are pasted over them. Sure, you could say it's a parody of superhero cartoons, but that's not how parody works. When it comes to parody, you don't use characters that are established, you create your own characters and make them satires of already established characters. Sure, you could use established characters, but less pain is inflicted when parody is done the other way. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, you can't take serious superheroes and make them comedic goofballs. Remember the last time they did that? Yeah, I'm a fan of the original Batman, but I find this movie hilarious. If you don't find it funny, it means you're a fat geek who's living off of welfare that can't accept change. Put your childhood that nobody gives a spit about aside and learn to laugh at the wonderful comedy that Mr. Schumacher puts on display for us. Bottom line, Teen Titans Go is still a show that angers me to no end, whether or not I'm judging it as a show by itself. Why it got renewed for a second season, I'll never know. While I'm on the subject of Cartoon Network, let's move on to the next topic of this video, Steven Universe. So, please save your booings until the end of this segment, please. Thank you. So, this show is about Steven, a little boy who's a part of a group of gems who save the world from fantasy creatures. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't exactly a rant on the show itself. It's a rant on the fact that I literally have nothing to say about it. Yeah, I honestly don't know what to say about this show. So, screw you, myself! You're always so outspoken about everything else you talk about. Why can't you find something you don't like about this cartoon, huh? I'll show you! Oh, is that all I got? Oh, my grandmother hits better than that! Okay, that accomplished nothing. So, even though I'm kind of drawing a blank when it comes to this show, I'll try my best to describe why I don't like it. I can say that it was really a chore for me to watch several episodes of it, but the thing is, I don't know why. I gathered nothing from the show. Nothing negative, but nothing positive either. The show just put me in a dull mood. I could have been in the happiest mood I ever been in before watching this show, but the second I started watching it, I was like, what is the point of living? I know, I really hate to say that about something that really isn't the worst show I've seen, but that's just how I felt. While I do applaud Rebecca Sugar for being the first female to create her own show for Cartoon Network, and I'm glad this show isn't trying to be a straight-up comedy, and is instead focusing more on the fantasy and drama aspects, it's still a show that I couldn't stand watching. The characters are just there. The plots are average at best, and this show uses an odd color scheme, which is the most likely reason I got a little dull-minded while watching this show. It's such a shame. I was kind of looking forward to this show, seeing as how Rebecca Sugar wrote some of my favorite episodes of Adventure Time, but I guess she works best when she's handling other people's characters. So, bottom line, Steven Universe. It exists. Now, this leads into the next rant topic. There are people out there who are going to take my previous opinions on Steven Universe and act like I killed their grandparents, then dug up their corpses and ate them. The person will either act like that they're the most tortured person in the world and want sympathy from everybody, or they'll hire the most expensive assassin they can afford to do terrible things to me. Well, to people who take opinions seriously, I have one thing to say. Look at yourself. Seriously, look at yourself. Are you that damaged by a human doing something that all humans do? Express themselves? I mean, honestly, this is something that has been going on even before the creation of the internet. It seems that some people just get so hurt over the fact that somebody disagrees with them. I'm sure everybody has met somebody like this. Hey Larry, hey, I just want to say, thanks for taking my dog to the vet after that old man ran him over. I don't know what I'd do without you, man. You saved my life on several occasions. You were the best man at my wedding. Your mom took care of me while my parents were in rehab. And you're the friend I always wanted. So I'm going to repay you by taking you to see the new Hobbit movie. Oh, thanks, Joe, but I'm really not a fan of Lord of the Rings. What? Screw you! You are the worst human being I've ever met! I hope you and your family members experience the worst deaths known to mankind! You are the son of Hitler and Satan! I hate you! Urgh! Yeah, I know that never happens in real life. It's usually worse than that. All you try to do is express your opinions in a respectful manner, but then some jackass who spilled his cereal in the morning will try to say that the only reason you don't like something they like, or vice versa, is because you're a moron that doesn't know what you're talking about. Since when did opinions turn into brain surgery? Is a person understanding his or her perception of certain things in the media really that hard to process? Then the person will say, oh no, it's not your opinion that ticks me off. It's your reasons to back up your opinion. Truck that! That's still showing that you're hurt by somebody's opinion because you don't like the reasons the person is using. Well, did you fail to realize that maybe the reasons you like something may be the same reasons why the other person doesn't like it? Sure, you could say that the reasons somebody uses might be completely ridiculous, but you know what? Who the truck cares? Yeah, you pointed out that somebody has a few screws loose. So what? Is that magically going to change the person's opinion on something? I think not. I also love it when these kind of people try to say you're a biased hypocrite just because you love some shows they hate or you hate some shows they love. For example, somebody tried to call me a hypocrite a year ago because I loved Gravity Falls, but I didn't like Regular Show at the time. What the truck do those two shows have in common? Oh, because Alex Hirsch and J.G. Quintel are friends in real life, that automatically means that both shows are the same thing? How much glue did you shove up your nose when you were in kindergarten? Finally, what makes me the angriest when it comes to this topic is when people who take opinions seriously actually go onto YouTube and look up rant videos on things they love. What cracks me up is that they get mad at the fact that the ranter doesn't like the thing they love. Well, no spin, Einstein! What were you expecting from a rant? Were you expecting the ranter to say how much he or she loves the said thing? Give me a break! Honestly, if you think a video is going to tick you off, don't fucking watch it! That is, unless you're the kind of person whose only emotion is anger, then by all means, go to town! So people who take opinions seriously, I'm so sorry. Sorry we don't live in a little fantasy land where everybody wears the same clothes, has the same opinions, and is named George. Duh, hi George. How you doing, George? Oh, I'm just fine, George. Tell me about the rabbits, George. Screw that! We're all individuals. We all have rights to believe what we want to believe. The fact that we all have different views helps make us unique. We're not sheep for the herding. Also, understand that opinions are subjective. They're not etched in stone. They're neither right nor wrong. Don't act like it's the end of the world just because somebody disagrees with you. If you ask me, I love talking to people who disagree with me. It allows me to see things from a different point of view, and to learn things that I wouldn't have learned otherwise from talking to people who do agree with me. Sure, I don't change my opinions, but it's still nice to see the other side of the coin. If somebody disagrees with me, I don't act like I've been shot. I just nod and move on. Oh blah dee, oh blah da. Life goes on! So, to those of you who act like an opposite opinion is a declaration of war, learn to be a little more open-minded and to actually listen to what people have to say, rather than just hearing 4 words and screaming like a banshee. Also, don't try to treat your opinions as facts, because they're not. And using your opinions as a way to belittle others is both uneducated and immature. It's good to express yourself, but it's not good to try to trap others within that expression, not allowing them to leave. Let's move on to yet another cartoon that makes me want to dive headfirst into a meat grinder. Ultimate Spider-Man. Here's a little backstory before I open the can of rage. See, Spider-Man is my second favorite comic book hero after Batman. I love how he's a young adult who has to cope with so much responsibilities, and I love how he has a smart aleck attitude towards his villains. Now, a few years ago, Disney XD was airing Spectacular Spider-Man, which it picked up after Kids WB went off the air. It has everything that makes Spider-Man, well, spectacular, and it's pretty dark for a kid's show. Shortly after the second season ended, Disney canceled the show even though 5 seasons were planned. So, what did they replace it with? Oh, how I hate you. Why, you may ask? Well, let's take a look. Once again, this is another show that takes a serious superhero and makes him a complete goofball. There must be a disease going around. So, it's about Spider-Man and a group of superheroes nobody has ever heard of fighting crime, telling a bunch of fourth wall jokes, cutaway gags, and beating up villains by using poorly executed slapstick. Yeah, I would totally want to watch this show never! Honestly, it hurts seeing Spidey treated this way. What happened to the drama involving him dealing with his personal life and superhero life? What happened to the romance between him and Mary Jane before Mephisto came in and screwed it all up? What happened to writers, taking Spider-Man seriously? Honestly, the 60s Spider-Man show is more serious than this. Oh sure, people say, no duh, it's a comedy. Spider-Man isn't supposed to be a trucking clown. It would be like making Woody Woodpecker an emo. You just can't ruin characters like that! Okay, if I'm going to play the game of the change lovers and ignore the fact that this is supposed to be a Spider-Man show, there are several other things I can complain about. For example, one of the crew members is simply called Man of Action. It's like he's embarrassed to be involved with this show, so he doesn't even want to use his real name. And another thing, at the end of each episode, the show tries to teach some kind of valuable lesson, which ends up being the only funny aspect of the show, because the idea of a comedy show that doesn't want to be taken seriously trying to teach life lessons is ducking hilarious. So, yeah, I really hate Ultimate Spider-Man. It's really frustrating knowing they canceled such a great Spider-Man cartoon in order to make room for this embarrassment. Honestly, this show is what you would get if you made a cartoon about the Three Stooges being superheroes. But the sad part is, Hanna-Barbera already beat them to it! Why are these companies making comedic shows out of serious superheroes when there are plenty of comedic superheroes they can make comedy shows out of? Hint, hint. Finally, let's wrap up this video with a top 12 list. As you know, I love classic rock. It's my favorite music genre. I can listen to it all day. However, if you listen to as much classic rock radio as I do, you start to discover that there are some artists and bands that get worse the more you hear them. So, here are the top 12 classic rock artists I hate. Number 12, Journey. I swear to Tashlin, if I hear Don't Stop Believing one more fucking time! But on top of that, I feel as though their songs get old after a while. Probably because most of them are love songs. Yeah, I get it. Love is good. Sing about something else! Even the Beatles got tired of love songs and moved on to other topics like death, nostalgia, and whatever the heck I Am the Walrus is about. So, Journey is too poppy and lovey of a band for my liking. Number 11, The Cars. The Kings of New Wave. And that's enough for me to not like them. I can't stand New Wave. It just reeks of the early 80s. On top of that, just what I need is another song that inspires me to do horrible things every time I hear it. And their other songs just don't do anything for me either. So, Cars, do me a favor and drive as far away from me as you can. Number 10, Bryan Adams. Again, I can't stand Summer of '69, and I don't think I'm familiar with anything else he's done, but Summer of '69 has left such a bad ringing in my ears that I don't even want to try anything else he's done. Number 9, Eddie Money. The guy who's known for 2 songs, and they both have become staples of corporate classic rock stations. I hate to judge a guy based only on 2 songs, but if those are the 2 songs that he's most known for, then the rest of his library probably isn't worth writing home about. Number 8, Leonard Skynyrd. Yeah, I know. Oh, how dare you hate Leonard Skynyrd. They're legends. Yeah, well, so are the Beatles, and I know some people who hate them. Anyway, I know these guys are talented, but again, when you hear their songs over and over again, you start to realize that they don't have much staying power. I'll admit, Freebird is a classic, but other than that, their other songs really aren't noteworthy, and they're just migraines to me. Number 7, Foreigner. I've just heard most of their popular songs way too many times. It's gotten to the point where I can hear the first second of one of their songs, know it's them, and then change the channel on the radio. Number 6, Boston. I kid you not, all of their songs sound the same. When I hear an opening riff to a Boston song, I can't tell which song it is, and I've heard them all so many times. If it's one thing I can't stand in music, it's repetitiveness. So if a band has a signature style that prevents the band from trying something different with their unique sound, then you can guarantee I'm not going to buy any of their CDs. Number 5, Styx. Yes, I know. I said years ago that I like them. That was before I realized that they made a bunch of crappy love ballads, and Dennis DeYoung practically had the rest of the band in a stranglehold to the point where they can't even stand to look at pictures of him anymore. I used to wonder why people thought Styx sucks. And now I know why. Number 4, Rod Stewart. Is it just me, or does he sound like he's being strangled when he sings? I know, I've said several times before that the best musicians come from England. But that doesn't mean that every musician that comes from England is talented. Number 3, ZZ Top. Don't get me wrong, I love Southern rock, but I think these guys feel more like a parody of Southern rock. I feel as though their vocals are too low, their instrumental work is repetitive and simple, and the overall blues tone just makes ZZ Top a hard band for me to listen to. Number 2, U2. Yeah, you all saw this coming. It's such a shame. They really showed promise, but then Bono became full of himself to the point where he doesn't even feel like a musician anymore. He feels like a live-action version of Captain Planet. Plus, when it comes to U2's music, I think their songs just get worse every time I hear them. I know, they did have some big hits, but if you take time to listen to them as much as I have, I'm sure you might hear the music dropping in quality. Number 1, John Mellencamp, the king of cheese, the man who repeats the chorus of his songs 3 times in a row. Don't believe me? Allow me to give your ears a beating with his lyrics. Make it hurt so good. Come on baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like it should, so make it hurt so good. Ain't that America for you and me? Ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free. And the walls come crumbling down. The walls come crumbling. The walls come crumbling down. Hearing this guy's music makes me want to do terrible, horrible things. I can listen to a marathon of all the other musicians on this list, but if I hear 1 second of a Mellencamp song, well, let's just say I try to keep that side of me under control. Well, there's a hefty batch of more things that tick me off, and you know what? I'm sick of being angry. Why must I view life with such a cynical attitude? I know I'm better than this. I know that there is hope out there, and I should show it more often. That's right. From here on, it's going to be all optimism. I'm not going to let anything tick me off. I'm ready to take a different look at life and become a completely different person. Well, I'm Benthelooney, and I'm signing out. Get ready for happiness. Meanwhile... So, Benthelooney wants to see the bright side of life, eh? Well, we're not going to stand for that, right, boys? Yeah! Yeah, I guess. Quite right. Umbrella Jello. Let's show our friend that all hope is lost. Now we laugh in an evil way.